Greetings everyone and welcome. I'm your host Captain Ryan. In today's video I'm back playing in the Tier 10 Pan-Asia Destroyer Yue Yang here in World of Warships. As the battle gets underway, it's Haven. It's Domination Match Mode, and it is obviously a Tier 10 game. Now this was paid last patch, so some things have changed since then in the game, but not too many core gameplay changes. Now, as I push up here towards the sea cap point, you can see the sea cap point is being captured by somebody. There are 4 destroyers per team, and as a result of that, and the fact that my team's not really in a position to shoot at whatever's in there, I don't choose to go in there. But I still do get spotted, end up spotting the enemy gearing, and that's who was capping. Now, get shots off here at him as I turn far and away, popping that smoke screen, using it to effectively create a line of sight barrier. Now, because it's the gearing, and because he can have up to 2 different kinds of torpedoes, I'm not sure what set of torpedoes he's gonna have, so I'm not gonna stay still in my smokescreen. Instead, I'm just going to try and run away. Briefly spotted there by aircraft. Like I said, there are carriers in this game. They are only Tier 8, but Tier 8 planes are still an annoyance to destroyers, especially if the carrier knows what he's doing, and he can effectively just keep you spotted just outside of your effective AA range, where he's not going to lose too many planes to your AA, but just enough to constantly keep you spotted. Fire off both sets of torpedoes there as an enemy Hindenburg starts rolling around that island. Now, we do have some ships back over here, and this Hindenburg might not necessarily be doing the smartest thing here. It is a very tough ship, but it's not tough enough to withstand all of the fire from all of these ships. However, he's continuing to sail in a nice straight line, so I hit him with 1 torpedo, but the second set, that's what's going to do it there. There's a first blood secured in the game, taking out that very dangerous Tier 10 cruiser. So, my team now up on points here as we've secured our first kill in the game, but right back down as we end up losing our Minotaur to the enemy Wooster. So, at this point, my team is split equally behind the C cap point and down behind the B cap point. The problem is, so is the enemy team. And the enemy team is getting more effective fire out as we lose our first destroyer in this game. And that's going to be a serious problem for us because, as we know, destroyers are very, very useful at the end of the game. As I push back up here into the C cap point, I'm spotted yet again. This time, enemy destroyer, German destroyer, the Z-23. Now, I pop my smoke screen here, but once more, I'm just going to use it as a line of sight block. Because he's the Z-23, he does have that hydroacoustic consumable, so I need to be careful of that. Of course, it's not as good as the Z-52, but it still could be a problem enough I opted to stay sitting in my smoke screen. That could be a serious issue. Not only that, there's an enemy cruiser back behind that island, specifically the Wooster, who is also spamming not high explosive, oddly enough, but armor piercing. He is managing to connect with me just a little bit here and there, but unfortunately for him, I'm not sticking around, and all of his shots are basically just going all over the place. Fire off a set of torpedoes down that channel. You never know, maybe I'll catch him off guard and kill him with one of these. As you can see, he's pushed out quite a bit there, though. These light cruisers are actually particularly good at changing directions depending on the modules you got. We managed to take out one of the enemy destroyers, very dangerous, Tier 9.5, the Fletcher there, so he's dead. The other destroyer there pops up. He's fairly low health. There's that gearing once more. It's a little bit of a shame that my torpedoes are deep water and they can't hit destroyers, because I'm sure I would have hit him by now. Enemy team does manage to secure the C cap point, so they're going to start gaining points at a quicker rate than my team. My team has also lost 3 ships, but the enemy team loses yet another destroyer, as do we, so we're very much equal footing at this point. Both teams minus 2 cruisers, minus 2 destroyers in this game. The advantage, though, is that I have more health than at least one of these destroyers. And provided my team can find and help support against that gearing, or that gearing ends up utterly out of it, it's possible and probable that I could probably take him in a straight-up gunfight and win. But at this point, I don't want to do that. My efforts are needed elsewhere. And now you'll notice that rather than stick around the C cap point and continue to sit back there and try and take it, I've opted to come over here to the B cap point instead, because the B cap point is, for the most part, fairly wide open. The enemy team doesn't seem particularly interested in pushing up here. They also seem to be very distracted by the other ships that are back over here. Additionally, remember, enemy Wooster back behind the C cap point. His radar could cause me some serious problems, and his gun arcs, well, we know that he can lob those over islands. Get sets of torpedoes off here at the Alabama and the Kurfürst as they are both sitting down that channel. With any luck, I'll be able to secure a couple of torpedo hits on at least one, if not both there. And of course, wouldn't it be wonderful if I could just get a detonation? That would be great. But RNGesus is going to say no to me today. However, that spread does look very, very good. And here is the enemy Z-23 has popped up. Now, I've got way more health than him, comparatively speaking, and he was initially distracted. He's got torpedoes coming out here, so I need to be careful there. And there we see he's popping a smoke screen. He's trying to break line of sight. Is it going to be enough? Am I going to be able to secure it? Come on, get him again. Not quite, did quite a bit of damage, but couldn't set a fire, couldn't do any of that. I pop a smoke screen myself because I have to be concerned about the Kurfürst secondaries there. Did hit a couple of torpedoes on, I think, both of those ships, but obviously, with only a few, you're going to put that flooding out. The good news is the Yue Yang has a very fast torpedo reload. And so I've got torpedoes available again here in just 20 more seconds. In the meantime, I'm going to try and get some high explosive out here on both of these ships and try and set some fires so that they can start burning down. If there's one thing that I know for sure, it's battleships absolutely love to put out flooding and then immediately be set on fire. So shots going out here. As you can see, I'm focusing down the Kurfürst. He's more dangerous with his secondaries here. And I do manage to set a fire there. Now, fire off a set of torpedoes where I think that Kurfürst is going to turn. Have a second set available. There's the Alabama pushing up. Alabama, very tough cookie to crack with torpedoes because of that massive torpedo protection. It looks like, though, both of those ships are turning in, so I'm going to short these torpedoes. And I don't want to stick around any longer. Remember, Kurfürst, a tier 10 German battleship, like the German destroyers and the German cruisers, has hydroacoustic, so you need to pay attention to how close these ships are getting to you. Now, as I leave my smoke screen, I am briefly detected there as I was just inside of detection range there, but it looks like I might hit a torpedo on one of these ships. Yes, I do, but not enough to cause flooding. However, the Kurfürst is still burning down nicely. In the meantime, I'm going to push up here into the A cap point, and hopefully I'm going to be able to take the A cap point. Now, I don't know where that Z-23 ultimately disappeared to, but I do know he's very, very low health. It looks like, unfortunately, speaking of low health, the Kurfürst manages to put the fires out that were so close to finishing him off there, just in the nick of time. Very, very low health. I really would like to get shots on him, but I'm just not in a position to do it. I am, however, in a position to get shots onto the Alabama now. I popped my smoke screen, briefly detected there. He's got secondaries blazing away at me, but look at that. Set him on fire there. And with any luck, I'll be able to burn him down as well. Now that Kurfürst, you can see his secondaries going out there. The only question is our Yamato going to kill him? Yes, fortunately he does. Shots coming in there from the Alabama. Looks like he's using the Halsey Admiral on there based on the tracer shells there. But he's left the B cap point, and I'm able to secure my second kill in the game, burning him down. Additionally, I'm going to secure the A cap point here. So there's going to be another cap for my team, and now my team is in an okay position, as we have the A, B, and D cap points. We have 3 of the caps, the enemy team only holding on to the C cap point. But the enemy team currently in the ship's lead. They're also in the points lead because they've had the cap advantage for so long. Now, the ship advantage that they have here, obviously, is that they have 2 destroyers. They have a gearing, still, and they have a Z-23 as well. The Z-23 could be literally anywhere. I do not know where he's gone, but I do know where the gearing has disappeared to, based on the last known position on the map. He is somewhere right around the D cap point. And based on the fact that somebody is now capping, that's my guess is going to be the gearing. The enemy team also still has a cruiser, the Wooster, so he has radar that I need to be concerned about, and of course they have a battleship. The good news is that battleship doesn't have a lot of health left here, comparatively speaking, and we have a Yamato to face him. Actually, we also have a degrosser to face him as well, and the secondaries on the degrosser are probably more than enough to finish him off. Enemy aircraft carrier coming over here. I'm trying to keep his planes at bay by turning on my anti-aircraft, but not going to be good enough there. He does manage to hit me. Luckily for me, doesn't do a lot of damage. Friendly CV coming to my support with some fighters here trying to get those planes into panic. He does manage to succeed. Now, I've dodged the bombs, but I have to fight the torpedo bombers. Luckily, I'm a destroyer, and getting torpedoed by an enemy aircraft carrier is pretty damn difficult. And as I push up towards the C cap point, that's when the Wooster pops up here, starts shooting at me. The last thing I want to do is deal with him over there by myself, with that carrier's planes still spawning me. So I turn off my anti-aircraft, drop off detectability, and start making a run the other way. Looking at the situation, though, the enemy team is in the process of capping the decap point. They still are in the points lead. There's still a good chunk of time left in this match. And based on how the teams are playing, it really could go any direction. But looking at the situation here, I don't want this Iowa to come up and ram our Yamato, because look at what's happening. They're closing in rapidly. The problem is, it's too late to communicate with the Yamato to tell him not to keep moving forward, that I can rush up here and in just 40 more seconds drop torpedoes on this Iowa and finish him off. Instead, though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to add my little 127mm guns, breaking the superstructure of this Iowa in an effort to try and set him on fire, and I do manage that, and try to peck away at him 1,000 to 1,500 health at a time, prevent that ram from happening. Come on! Yes! degrosser saves our Yamato by the skin of his teeth. There's the gearing now. Gearing torpedoes could be out in the water, especially considering our Yamato is basically right there, but it's unlikely. As that Iowa was there, the gearing didn't want to risk torping a friendly carrier. Actually managed to secure the kill on the gearing. A little bit disappointed I didn't get the kill on him, but hey, dive bombers to the rescue. Speaking of destroyers and that carrier, the carrier now has a problem. The Z-23 has reappeared at point-blank range to our CV, all the way down there in the corner. There's nothing I can do to get down there and help him at this point, and given the situation with our remaining ships, it's not beneficial for me to go down there. At this point, it's more beneficial to rush in and retake the D cap point, and better yet, come in and retake the C cap point. Prevent the enemy team from gaining any more additional points here in the last 5 minutes, especially considering the health amount that we still have left on myself and our 2 battleships, as well as our carrier's situation. Dealing with a tier 8 carrier, I can do in a destroyer. I still have some speed boosts left. I still have some smoke screens left, so I can pop those and effectively just hide. Now, the carrier on the enemy team is still sending aircraft back. He knows we're capping the decap point. The friendly battleship's anti-aircraft opening up there. My anti-aircraft opening up here as well. Between the two of us, we've got 2 tier 10 AA suites going on here. We should be able to cause this carrier some serious problems with his aircraft. Unfortunately, neither of us has a defensive fire, so these bombing runs are going in on their full concentrated effect. So that carrier gets a nice, beautiful spread on our Yamato, but Yamato, as big as she is a quite maneuverable ship. Only ends up eating 3 of those, and we did do a good job shooting down most of those planes. Fortunately, because our carrier once more is able to, he gets rid of the other enemy destroyer. So the enemy team now no longer has any destroyers. Our team is finally in the ship lead, and we're finally up in the points lead here at just shy of 900 points with 2 caps. Now the enemy Wooster has pushed up. He's capping the A cap point, so he's retaking that, but he's got shots coming in there from the secondaries from our degrosser, as well as the main battery shots coming in there to reset him, so he's not going to have the best time dealing with it. And, more importantly, I'm going to push up to the C cap point and cause problems here. Now, I'm going to do this rather than go and try to take out the Wooster, simply because it's a Wooster. He can kill me very quickly. He's got a lot more health than I do at this point. And I want to keep this island between him and myself because he can't lob shots over it. I tried to take random shots over the island, not enough to clear, as you can see. Fire off a bunch of torpedoes back that direction. You never know, I might hit them. They're fairly long-range torpedoes. Enemy team secures the A cap point, but it's gonna be too little, too late at this point in the game. There's 3 minutes left, though. They could still pull this out, and the carrier has been spotted. I know where he is. He's sending more aircraft out here. As I'm in the C cap point, he's basically going to fly right over the top of me with these planes. So I slam on the brakes here, and I pop my smoke screen. I do have my speed boost up, but that's just going to let me maneuver faster in my smoke screen. Fortunately, the friendly Yamato is close enough to see those planes for me, so my anti-aircraft can do their job from inside the smoke screen, and I can contribute to this. If you're in a destroyer and you don't ever turn your AA on, now is a good time. This is a good example of when to turn that anti-aircraft suite on. Try and provide as much assistance as you can to your friendly team. Enemy Woosters finally switched over to the high explosive, and he's starting to fire. Fortunately for me, he's not firing at me. And we cap out on points there, just hitting 1,000 just as our Yamato burns down. So that's why we win on points with some time left. Well, it appeared that we only had like 960 points. 175,000 damage done in the game, only a first blood medal. Top of the team for XP earned at 2,400 base XP. Of course, a lot of that XP is due to 2 solo base caps and 2 base capture assists. Anyway, that's it for today's video. If you like the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. If you'd like to get semi-regular channel news and updates, you can do so by liking and following me on Facebook. If you'd like to help support me and the channel, as well as receive early access to some of these World of Warships videos, you can do so by becoming my supporter on Patreon. If you'd got a replay like this one that you'd like to see featured on my channel, or just have me take a look at, you can send it to my email. And if you'd like to watch me play various games live, albeit intermittently, you can do so by following me on Twitch. You can find the links for all of those in the video description down below. And as always, I'll see you next time. This is Captain Rye, signing off.